This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
After the third time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Welcome to Cosmic Channels. Open minds on cosmic lines. To call in to future episodes of Cosmic Channels, follow Cosmic Channels on YouTube and Twitch and tune in live Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Time. The number is 1-833-703-0424. The Cosmic Channels are open.
Yeah, it's your boy BJ Cheeks.
I'm Zeltron.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Andrew.
Oh yeah, open lines, any topic.
Yeah, it's the end of the month. You know what that means. Dream police, they live inside of your head. We're taking any call, open lines, open minds, whatever you guys want to talk about. We'll take your calls. Last Sunday of every month.
Any topic. Ghosts, cryptid, UFOs. Make fun of Braden. Anything goes. Oh, and just like that, first call of the night coming through. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hot damn, I'm back, boys.
Oh,
It's
shit.
the Cowboy Pilot from Fort Worth, Texas. How the hell are you?
Great, brother. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing all right, guys. Hanging in here. Made it through Snowpocalypse and thought I share another story with y'all.
Snowpocalypse, right? That was some wild times down there in Texas, from what I see on the
Yeah,
news.
we got a little dose of what you fellas in the land of the frozen prairie experience on a regular basis. So, and our society crumbled. So I think we get a solid C- on that one. But hopefully we learn from it in the future. However, I was talking with the captain the other day, and I did procure a story from a friend of a friend to pass along that I thought was pretty cool. It has to do with underground military bases.
Damn.
Caught my attention. I thought it was worth passing along.
Of course.
So, gentleman I was flying with is a Vietnam veteran. Like many young men of his generation, he found himself flying a UH-1 Huey. He was a Huey gunship pilot. And now he was just regular U.S. Army standard issue GI. You know, he was flying relatively normal missions. However, he said one time he did get attached to a group of special operators. He refused to say what kind of special operations dudes these were. However, I did ask him if they were the kind of special operators that wore berets of a certain color, and he just kind of smiled at me.
Roger.
So him and a couple other helicopters, he said, were attached as gunships to escort these troop transports. So they're going on some mission somewhere that he couldn't tell me for obvious reasons. And they're supposed to just kind of protect them along en route. So he says, you know, they're kind of going through the pre-mission briefing, and he says, so, where are we going and why? They said they couldn't tell him why. But as far as where they're going, he said, you just follow along these troop transport helicopters until you don't need to anymore. And he said, well, you know, he told me, well, what does that mean? How do we know we won't need to anymore? They said, oh, trust me, you'll know. So they get going. They're in formation. They're kind of protecting these troop transport helicopters. And as he puts it, they're about 2 hours in. And again, he couldn't confirm any destinations or where they were. But he said they you know, kind of were coming up on what just looked like another mountain in Southeast Asia, wherever they were. Again, he couldn't confirm. And as he put it, the two helicopters that were troop transports full of these special operators flew into the mountain. Now, not like they crashed, but like the helicopters disappeared into the side of the mountain. Now, he told me that he was almost positive that there was no kind of opening, there was no natural cave, there was nothing. They're flying
A
along
waterfall, like the
Oh.
Batcave.
like full James Bond supervillain status. I don't know. He did not specify. I don't think there was a waterfall, but he said, as he put it, he said they were flying towards the mountain at one point, and the next thing he knew, they lost sight. They couldn't find him anymore. So his initial thought was that maybe they passed under some foliage, or maybe they had actually crashed, like gone down. But there was no sign of that. They just lost radio contact, and they assumed that was what they meant by "you'll know when you don't need to follow them anymore." So I thought that was a pretty crazy story.
Oh, weird.
Super weird, man.
So
A lot of weird shit happened in Vietnam.
So like some hidden entrance to a bay, like not visible. Like these craft just disappeared, seemingly.
Yeah, that's kind of what he insinuated. He said, especially he said normally he would chalk it up to just something, just a weird experience in Nam. But he said the fact that they were on this weird kind of secret mission with special operators and stuff. He said he didn't really know what to make of it. He didn't draw any solid conclusions, but he thought it was, like always, I was just picking his brain. I said, "Oh, you flew a helicopter. You see anything weird over there?" And at first he was kind of like, "Well, no, not really." And then he sort of, about a minute later, said, "Well, there was this one time," and I was like, "Man, that's a crazy ass story, man."
That reminds me of we talked about the hidden entrance in that base in Australia, the potential for that out in the
Pine Gap.
Pine Gap, yeah. So is that the first of these bases with these seemingly invincibly fast opening, closing doors on the mountainside? Probably not.
Was this? This was in Vietnam, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, this would be.
They got some big
he couldn't
caves.
confirm
They got
he
some
was
big-ass
in
caves.
Vietnam, but he could.
Which that's a good point too.
Yeah, it
It's
could
like
be.
they do have large caves in Vietnam, so if they were aware of some type of entrance to a large cavern or something like that, maybe that was their whole thing, was they were being deployed inside that cavern in order to kind of do like a some type of what's the word I'm looking for here?
Reconnaissance.
Yeah, it could be some reconnaissance or something like that. Like it's yeah.
So
Totally could
You said
be.
it wasn't like
he
it wasn't
didn't-
like
he
a
didn't
rocky mountain. It
specifically-
would have been like one of the forested mountains, like a jungle mountain or something like that. They could have technically just had maybe a very small clearing made on that mountain and landed there, or did
secret
he go
base.
into a little bit more detail about what he saw them do, like in terms of landing or?
No, he was pretty sparse on this. Any kind of clear opening, and that they lost visual. So in theory, if these are helicopters, if they had just set down, that takes a little while. They were following these helicopters, so
Right.
They had eyes on them, and he said it was like they were like 1 second they were there, he kind of got distracted for a second, and then they were just gone. So presumably, if they were just landing, that would have been fairly visible. But it could have been some sort of like natural. I don't know. Maybe they have some tarp with a bunch of leaves on it that they just pull over the opening real
Maybe
quick.
if they
Who
just
knows?
drop beneath the tree line, like if there were just
Yeah.
some small opening, like if these were special operators, I'm sure like the pilots of these helicopters were probably some of the best.
best
So
of the
it's like
best,
these
yeah.
guys were doing probably either
Best of
like
the
fast
best of the
rope.
best, sir.
Well, they were like fast roping down or something like that. Some quick, like just land real
Yeah.
fast and then just, go straight down and do some crazy shit and come out with a necklace full of ears or something. I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe they've got some active camouflage, like from Elisa Lamb.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
All right, I got one last question for you guys.
Yep.
Are you aware of Buttergate, and how concerned are you about it?
That's not the first time I've heard this, but I don't know what the hell Buttergate is.
So basically, Buttergate is that Canadian butter is harder to spread than any other butter in the world. Is that the
that
gist?
Yeah. That is the gist, and that it has become that way very recently. That over the last month, Canadian butter has gotten harder and more difficult to spread, and no one knows why.
Interesting.
Well, I'm a big margarine user.
Gross.
And
Bad
I
for your
like
heart.
margarine with some avocado oil in it, so it's already smooth.
Wait, doesn't Canada have a? Don't you guys kind of have like a dairy cartel, like the maple syrup cartel? Or isn't your dairy products like
Right.
Probably.
Yeah,
controlled?
Oh,
Like,
Those-
Big dairy.
Dude, you mean the cow tippers?
yeah.
Yeah, fuck cow tippers. It's because we have so much nutrients
I
in our
know.
butter. Those Canadian cows are fucking producing high protein, nice fats, all that shit. So it's not easy.
Certified bird of beef.
Bird of
There you
beef.
go, buddy.
Yeah.
That'll be something good coming from Alberta.
There you go. All right.
All right, Buttergate. All right, we're gonna pay attention to Buttergate because the few people be like Buttergate. I was like, I don't know. I thought it was like some inside joke, but it's legit just about butter.
I thought it was an Onion article when I first saw it on the internet, but apparently it's something of a real thing. So I thought I'd ask about it. But anyways, boys, that's all I got.
Thanks, Cowboy.
Cheers, man.
Always
All right,
good.
you guys-
Always good hearing from
You
you.
guys take it easy.
You too, brother.
All right.
Talk
Yep.
to you again. Boom. Yeah, if you're like, if the helicopter, you're following the other helicopter and they have like, not necessarily, maybe it's just like camouflage and like you peel it back really quick. And then as you're before you even landed, you string it back across where you're going down and you don't even notice that the helicopter disappeared. I don't know.
I mean, but they were flying through mountains. I said, if he lost, like if he broke visual contact for like a second, those helicopters could have just dropped down real fast on some like faster than is normal for like a deployment of troops or something like that. They could have, if they were just flying between mountains and stuff like that. Cause I mean, you guys have been to Vietnam. You've seen how the hills and how the mountains look like and like how the terrain is. If you just lost track of them, even behind a mountain or something, and they just dropped out of sight real fast, like it would seem like they just disappeared.
Obviously don't know enough. So we got another caller here. 1 second. Oh, damn it. Just lost him. Call right back.
Lost him.
Oh, someone else called. If you were just called, something happened. We lost you, but here's another one. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hey, how we doing?
Good.
Hello. Oh,
Can you hear us?
Oh man, this is yeah. Hear you loud and clear.
Awesome. Who's this?
This is let's go Tony Montana calling in.
Okay, Tony.
Okay.
But we're calling in from Miami, so I figured Tony's a little more fitting.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So that little background, I am from Miami, and so this is a cryptid tale. What I don't want to say a skunk ape because I really have no fucking idea what I saw last night.
Ooh, last
But
night.
I saw something.
Cool. Fresh in your mind. Let's hear it.
As in, I have not slept in 24 hours because of what I saw last night, and I have no idea what to make of it. So I figured I called the boys.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
So, a little backstory. I'm in Miami, and I'm going to St. Petersburg, another city in Florida, about 4 hours away. There's one way to get there. It's Interstate 75. I went up there to get a tattoo because my artist moved on me, and he's done most of my legs, so, I can't cheat on him. So,
Nope.
I went up there, got my stuff done. I'm leaving the tattoo shop in St. Petersburg at 10 p.m. It's about a 4-hour drive back. So I'm coming back. And I personally hate the drive because you have to go through a portion called Alligator Alley, which is about, I want to say, 100-mile stretch. So like 160 kilometers for you Canadian boys.
Thank you.
There's like nothing. There's no rest stops. You don't pull off the highway. It is literally like you go straight through the Everglades. There is nothing there.
So just road and alligators.
I'm entire.
Yeah, sounds like it.
That's all it is, baby. It's the alligator in the alley. And so So right before I get on, like the last city you go is Naples. So I stopped at Naples to tank up my gas because, I definitely don't want to get stranded out there. Say my prayers and hope I don't get a flat tire. And I was being pretty irresponsible, but my leg was kind of fucking killing me because I just got a tattoo on my Achilles, and I figured it was Modelo time, fool. So I just got one tall boy to ease the pain, because it's not dewy season, and we don't want to get any. Yeah. So as I'm driving down, I'm probably halfway through. I'm the only car on the road. I mean, at this point, it's like 1 a.m. I'm probably like an hour away from Miami. And I am I'm in the shit, boys. I'm in the middle of the Everglades. And I finished that Modelo, and you know what that does to a boy. So I had to pull over on the side of the road and take a leak. And honestly, I have no problem sharing my names, but the reason why I'm Tony Montana is because this story does involve me actually pissing myself. So
that's all good.
So I stop on the side of the road, and I'm entirely pussy. Like, if this is Alligator Alley, the only thing I was thinking of was gators, even though it's fenced off. I did not step away 2 feet away from my car. I'm basically pissing on my car tire because I'm terrified. And
seems like logical choice.
Yep.
Yeah. And a good, 3 to 5 seconds into my me relieving myself, I heard like something very fucking loud, and it was not that far away. Like, I mean, it was off into this is the Everglades. It's like big cypress. It's a whole bunch of like cypress trees. It's the swamps. And I was like, there's literally nothing out here. There's no lights. I'm the only car out here. What the fuck? But I literally just thought, like, maybe I just heard a gator rustling. Like, I don't know what to make of it, And, but I heard something loud as fuck. And I swear, I look and I see a tree. I am talking about probably like maybe an 8-foot tree, like 2 meters or something, just fly probably 10 feet in the sky. Like, get thrown. I immediately run to my car, penis still out, pissing all over my legs, car, and everything.
Of course.
Jump in my car, stomp on the gas, hit 90 miles per hour straight home, never looked back. I went to my house. That's the end of it. I didn't see this thing. I didn't see anything. I just saw a tree fly through the sky as I pissed myself.
Well, I mean, like, thinking about Florida, like, what do we got? We got Skunk Ape possibly down there. Classic Gator Man. Right?
Gator Man.
Got the Lizard Man of Skateboard Swamp, which is more a little bit north. That's probably like North South Carolina. It could be migratory.
And worst of all,
those are the only big ones that I could see throwing like a tree. And like, what did you get a look at the tree coming at you? Was it a big full tree? Was it like a giant branch off? Like, what? Describe the tree coming at you.
It was an entire wrong. And no, it wasn't like directly at me. I just kind of saw it flying through. Like, it was, I don't know if it was just like like a little warning shot, like, look what I could do, so run away.
Right.
But that's how I took it as. That's how I interpreted it.
Hey, listen, let's not discount. It could have been a methed up fucking Florida man. You never know.
It could have. You know what? The meth be strong nowadays.
Exactly, man.
But
superpowers.
We're talking about a cypress tree. I mean, I don't know how much a tree weighs, but I would have to assume a couple 100 pounds. And this thing flew like at least 10 feet in the air. It went over the tree line that I was currently seeing. I mean, the trees weren't that tall because it was like a little marsh, but I mean, still, I saw it fly over other trees, and I was like, okay.
So you're just standing there, you're taking a quick piss. You look up, a tree sails over the tree line. You immediately, as any of us would, stumble backwards, still pissing, run to your car. Any of us would do the same thing. So you think that it was maybe a warning shot of a Bigfoot or like Skunk Ape, possibly.
I have no idea what it was.
No idea.
I don't know any person that could do that. I don't have the mountain for that. Well, maybe the mountain, but
you got Skunk Ape fucking in the bushes being like, put your goddamn cock away. Get it out of here.
This is my swamp.
Leave no trace, asshole.
Now this tree, the tree you seen fly through there, did it have roots attached? Like, was it ripped clean out of the ground, or was it just like a fallen tree that was a log and then you threw it?
So I heard a loud ass noise, and the only thing I could think, this is a cypress tree, so it's a marsh tree, like in the swamps, like think of like a mangrove type of situation, but with like a big trunk. And it just like, what I think I heard earlier was it being uprooted and then just being thrown.
Damn.
So whatever it was strong as shit. Like, you could just uproot a tree.
Yep. No shit. Now, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, if
so
you've seen a tree, like, I don't know what else, like, how you could mistake a flying tree for anything else. So.
Right. What I'm saying, like, yeah, I didn't see anything. I'm not going to go out here and say I saw like a figure that threw it or anything like that. I really did not see anything. I didn't hear it make like a noise or like no grunts or anything. I just saw a tree fly through the sky and I left as soon as possible.
That's because you responded appropriately.
Yep.
And you're alive.
Alive to tell
Your
it.
survival instincts are on point, and you got the fuck out of there like anybody else should. You don't want to stick around and see that thing.
Right.
Fuck that.
It was fight or flight, but I think my body knew that flight was the only real option.
Yep.
100%.
Right on, man. Hey, we got to keep taking calls, but we appreciate that one. That's, who knows what that was? I don't know. That's crazy.
Gator Alley, Gator Man.
Yep. Gator Man.
Case closed.
Oh, I'm drinking on some Canadian Crown Royal. So cheers to you, boys.
Oh, cheers.
Woo. Cheers.
Can't go wrong.
Okay, Tony.
Yeah.
See you, Tony.
Okay.
Take it
See
easy,
you
Tony.
later.
Bye.
Eso. Bye, guys.
Scared enough that you run away pissing. I mean, that's terrifying. Whatever it was.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy, I would have been winning the poo in it straight out of there. Man. I wouldn't even have pulled up my pants. I would have been out of there.
Waddling.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, awesome. Another caller. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Good, good.
Yo.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Name is Craig. Calling from Texas.
Craig from Texas. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir. Love you guys. I'm also a drummer, though, so I listen to you guys' music. Sounds good.
What are you playing? Rock, metal? Both?
Everything? All the above, yeah.
Nice.
All the above, man. Playing about 20 years.
Right on.
But I have a couple of stories I want to tell you guys about.
Let's hear them.
So the first one is a Ouija story. I know you guys have done some experiments with that, so wanted to call in and talk about this experience I had. I was about 15 years old, and a good friend of mine, Julie, she came in one day, and she had a stack of CDs. You know, like I said, always in music, right? So she had a stack of CDs she had brought me, and I rifled through them on my way out, and didn't really care, you know, so I left, came home that night. A couple of friends of mine, Tyler and Dan, came over, and we played some Ouija board. They wanted to, you know, experience it and check it out. So playing Ouija, and, you know, as kids do, when you get bored, you start asking dumb questions, right? So they're asking, like, what kind of music do you like? You know, this and that. And the Ouija board spelt out Aerosmith. And I said, well, I don't have any Aerosmith. I don't know what, you know. And the board got crazy for a minute. I had my pinky on it because I wanted to show them I wasn't, you know, manipulating it or doing anything weird. I wasn't trying to, you know, take advantage of them. So I had my pinky on the planchette, and it spelled out, Craig, I'm going to kill you. I said, well, okay.
Oh, shit.
You know,
God
well,
damn. Better get yourself some Aerosmith, man.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, right, exactly, right? It's really weird. And so
put on that fucking Armageddon soundtrack fast.
Yeah, it was really a weird feeling. And I was like, so, okay, this spirit's going to kill me now. Okay. And so, you know, I closed the board, and we said our goodbyes, and there was a big noise, a big bang in the back alley. And so it's probably like 3 a.m. And my dad woke up and walked to the next room, and he seen the board, kind of rolled his eyes, you know, and my dog, you know, I had a child at the time. My dog woke up and was barking, and so we go out there, of course, there's nothing. And so I'm telling my friends, I said, you know, it's probably coincidence, whatever, you know, I'll stay up all night, you know, I'm not worried about this, whatever. And so, lo and behold, next day, I looked at my armoire that the CDs were on, and seen Aerosmith, Get a Grip, the big cowl, you know, whatever cover. And I'm like, you know, I had no idea she had gave me a CD, but it was Aerosmith. And so I'm like, well, kind of coincidence, whatever. And so I blew it off, and I told my friends about it. I said, this must have been what, you know, triggered whatever happened. And so we began to tell my dad and all our friends about this incident. Nobody believed us. Nobody believed anything about it. So my friend Julie came in the next night, and we're sitting there on the floor. The TV's off, and there was a PlayStation game she enjoyed playing called Nightmare Creatures. The TV was off. The PlayStation was off. She opened the PlayStation, and she went to put the game in, and a voice came through the TV that said, hey, Julie, come out and play. Craig, I'm going to kill you.
Oh.
And she looked back at me like hell as a ghost, and she was startled, obviously. And all I could do was kind of chuckle like, I wasn't sure how to take this, and she heard the same thing I heard. And they used our name, and they used, the event at the time. And I told my dad about it, and he said, oh, it's a CB signal. It's something that's, coming through the signal. And I'm like, there's no way they would have known our names. And, so it said, hey, Julie, come out and play. Craig, I'm going to kill you. And so we took that as kind of like, that's really odd, Yeah. And we had a motion light at the time outside of our door. And when she wasn't there, I was the only one home, and I heard, hey, Craig. And they say, hey, when you hear your name, don't answer it. Because we're the devil, right? I don't know. So, I open the door. Of course, nobody's there. Little things like that happen. And at one point, she had a boyfriend who had came over to watch a movie with us. And her and she worked at a video store. So she had, seen this movie before. We had watched it before. And there was a certain part in the movie where they had this woman in blocks, like around her wrist, around her legs, around her throat, a Renaissance kind of movie. It was a torture device. And there was a laughter that came through the surround sound that we had never heard before in that movie. And so we looked at each other like, what was that? And our boyfriend's kind of blowing it off, like, oh, it's no big deal. But these things happened throughout, the next 3 months that we lived in this house together. And she looked at me and she was like, what did you do? Because at that time I did dabble in some, mysterious and darker things. And I was trying to experience and learn about these things. And, all I could tell her was, I don't know. We just did this. We played a Ouija board one night, and it was a very weird experience. And, sorry if I'm rambling, guys. I'm a little nervous.
No,
but we had this, we had this experience though. And I was like, I still to this day don't know what to think about the voice that came through a TV that said my name and her name and threatened to kill me. I can call her right now and ask her, hey, what happened that night? You went to play Nightmare Creatures and, you heard that voice. And she can tell you guys. It said, hey, Julie, come out and play. Craig, I'm going to kill you. And I'm like, well,
nope.
It didn't kill me yet. So I don't know what to believe about that. But it's a very weird phenomenon. Like, I know you guys have had Ouija experience before. I've listened to you guys' show for, the past, year or two, and I haven't really got to hear those particular, experiences you guys had. But I can only imagine, some of that stuff, it kind of baffles you at the same time. You don't understand where, there's some things you can't explain, right? So people think you're crazy when you talk about it. The Ouija board, it can be a very personal experience, and it can be a very, spiritual experience at the same time. So the reason I called you guys is because I wanted to see what you think about that as far as by name. Have you ever had an experience where, you felt like you were personally, I don't want to say attacked, but personally involved in that kind of situation where the spiritual, does that make sense?
Yeah, I have one question. How long did it take the Ouija board to spell out, Craig, I'm going to kill you?
Yeah, that's a long, I was going to say that's a
really
long
long.
anticipation.
I was like, that's really long. How long were you sitting there waiting for it to spell that out?
Well, see, I had my pinky on it. I had my pinky literally resting on the planchette, and I didn't move it at all because I wanted my friends to know that I wasn't trying to pull a trick on them. I wasn't trying to, move it myself. And so I really couldn't tell you how long, but I can tell you that I definitely did not do that personally. And so that's what it was a weird kind of experience. Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
Well, I mean, our experience with Ouija is, but we were kind of making a joke of it when we first started it. So we've never really had like an actual experience like that, but we've had so many people now tell us similar things about stuff that happens when you do play. I mean, I think the Ouija board, for it to like work like that, you have to be like committed for it to work. When we were, one time we're having a couple of drinks, kind of doing it. We got scared more of the location we played the first time, which was out in the middle of the woods, and then playing this game. We were like, well, and then we like took some pictures, and there was weird like picture defects. We're like, nope, get the fuck out of here. We're gone.
And like realistically, I would say we need a proper board rather than a Hasbro board.
That is the proper board.
Right.
I know, but I'm sure there's like
Demon board
No, that's
imbued
the
with real
official
spirits.
board.
I can assure you, if anything similar to that happened, I would be moving to a monastery or going to rabbinical school or some shit like that. I would not be on this podcast anymore. I'd be done. Be packing my shit as it's spelling out, die, Andrew, die. I'd be just packing everything
It
out.
really wasn't it really wasn't the matter of the material. You know, it was a cardboard board and a, plastic planchette. I don't think it was really a matter of the physical, device that we used. I think it was more so personal that it actually
Connection.
said my name. And yeah, not even the board itself. It's what happened later. The talking to a TV, the voice that came through the electronics, it really kind of confirmed like what I had tried to ignore.
Right.
I tried to ignore it as just a possible, like, oh, fluke, whatever. Maybe somebody's messing with me. But the fact that my friend Julie had no connection to this board and she came home and we both heard those voices and we heard those names really made me think about it. Like, okay, maybe there's got to be something that connected on that level that knew, and they were just not able to affect me physically, but they were able to mess with me emotionally in that sense. That make like the spiritual. If you think about the spiritual planes, and we think about all these theories about spirit, angels, demons, those kind of things, they have no control over your physical being, but they can make you think or do things that can entice you to do other things. That makes sense. Like,
Well, yeah, I think just the act of, so say there is like these different, different planes, and like there's astral plane and there's like maybe there's different beings or whatever. Like, I think it's not the Ouija board that's doing that. It's like your will to like want to connect with like a different, let's say, plane is like something maybe that's what, let's say, what they're looking for, whoever like on the other side. They're looking for people who are looking to make contact, and the Ouija board, just what it stands for, even though it's just a board game, really, like just made like any other board game.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're trying to play it and trying to connect, that's what a lot of people say, like why people have these experiences playing with the Ouija board.
and I would not be sitting here telling you this if I thought it was any manifestation of my own. If it was any idea I had in my head, if it was something that I made up or something I thought would be any other relevance. But the fact that they said our names and the fact that she had no connection to that experience and she heard it,
Right.
it really made me think like, it was really a odd experience. My other experience was some friends and I were.
I got to cut you off. I don't mean to, but like, there's other people waiting, so we got to keep moving. That story went on for about 12 minutes. No big deal. That was a really great story.
Yeah, we loved it.
If you could just
Call back with the next one.
yeah, save that one for the next one. We'd love to hear back from you.
I apologize. Sorry, guys.
No,
I'm a little nervous.
No, don't apologize. It's a great
That
story.
was a great story, man.
We just if you got more experiences though,
Okay.
like let's spread them out. Let's call back another time. Let's hear another one.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Cheers.
Bye.
Take care.
You too. Bye.
That was a dope.
Yeah, I don't like cutting in because people like he obviously had another great story coming up. I could just feel it, but
Well, spread the wealth,
Yeah.
man.
I mean, we got so many people now. It's like, come on, spread them out. Don't tell us all one stories. Don't shoot your load too early. Spread it
Yeah.
out, man.
Spread it out.
Tell us one
Spread-
story.
spread
Spread
the
the
love.
love. Spread the love.
now as soon as I hung up, the other person hung up. They were waiting too long. Call right back. If that was
Classic.
you that just hung up, call right back. Where it got my.
Yeah, right. That was Zell just hanging up on people.
I don't
being a
got a
bully.
screener.
Being a bully.
I don't know
But
who's
number
calling.
4,
That's why I'm number
The
4.
Oscar music.
All right, show's over. Goodbye. No, call back. I'm serious. Call right back. Don't be shy. Yeah, well, call back and tell your other story, I guess.
I do believe with the Ouija though is that we've, I know there's a lot of stuff we can do pre-Ouija to take it more seriously. Whatever, burning the sage and the
No,
Are
Sage
you
is what's going to get them
saying
away.
the 100% accurate
dragon candles.
incantation that I recited word for word from some website
next-
on the internet was not enough to open up the portal to the astral plane.
You didn't believe enough,
wasn't
Dan.
enough.
You didn't believe enough, Dan.
You're making a
I'm
joke
the
about
I was
problem.
in. I was in 100%. I was
Dan,
in it.
you were
I'm the
essentially you were like from that movie Hook, where Robin Williams is like at the dinner table and he's like, "Where's the food?" And he's like, "You got to believe," and he doesn't. That's you.
No food for
He
Dan.
does believe.
Well, eventually.
Eventually.
But, what I'm saying is, you're him before he believes.
Come on, Dan. Don't you want to be a lost boy?
Believe, Dan.
Not really. I
Don't
think
you wanna-
that's all like a thing for
Rufio,
childhood
Rufio,
death. So, I mean,
Rufio.
I don't want to be a lost boy that was stolen by some crazy weirdo that probably killed them and ate their souls. That's
Some
the original
diddler.
Peter Pan story. It's pretty fucking
Killed
dark.
them and
Like,
ate their souls, and that's why they're trapped in Neverland.
Well,
But
it's
listen,
some type of, it's some people say it's a metaphor for like early childhood death. Like it's what it is. It's really weird. Original Peter Pan's like really fucking dark.
And Buzzkill.
And
Ruined a classic.
I mean,
Killed
but yeah,
it.
Tinkerbell's hot. I mean, whatever. I guess everybody likes Julia Roberts.
okay, well now I hung up on that guy. Now we got no calls. Now I feel like an asshole.
I could.
you
I'm going to
should.
tell you, I'm the reason why the Ouija board doesn't work. I am, with every fiber of my being, willing
it not to work.
Every time. Every time I touch that thing, I'm like, just please don't. Please fucking don't. Don't move. The entire time I touch it, I'm like, the power of Christ compels you. Power of Christ compels you. Whisper.
I think we just gotta get you a little drunker to start before we start.
Dude, I was obliterated the first time we played it.
Yeah, but you were on a mixed stack of drugs there. Like you were not on just alcohol. You got a whole bunch of stuff going on. Prescription, maybe. Whatever. What was it? ECA? Like taking all those like
ECA stack. Ephedrine, aspirin, and caffeine. Me and Braden were a little pudgy.
trying to burn it off as quick as you
Yeah.
can. All right, another caller just came in. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hey, my name's Becca. Big fan. My husband kind of turned me on to you guys. I played the Ouija board a lot in my teenage years. And all I can say is my experience from it is that it seems evil because every single time me and my friends would play, it would always go to the number 6. And then we would ask, what does that mean? And it would spell out beast.
Damn.
So
Ooh.
I don't know. I just feel like literally every single time. And there was one time we played and we asked who we were talking to. And it said it was some guy that died in a fire. And we're like, can you see us? And we got the planchette to like point at each one of us.
Oh.
And then when we said goodbye, that was super creepy. But then when we ended the conversation with him, like all the lights went out in the house and we just smelled fire everywhere. And it was just the creepiest moment. And that's when I'm like, okay, I'm done with this shit. I can't do this anymore.
Now, how many times had you played it before this started happening? Was it like a bunch of times or?
This was kind of the beginning stages.
Oh,
So that
start
was
of
probably
it.
like maybe the 3rd, 4th time. But there were times later in life that I played it. And one time we didn't even have a Ouija board and we created our own and literally used like a keychain ring to move things around. And it still worked.
You didn't bleed on the board or something to like get.
No, nothing.
Oof.
And I did it with, later I did it with, this was in Wisconsin when I did it, like the fire story. But later on I moved to California and me and my best friend, like when we made our own board, we did it. And I asked the question, like, who's going to be my first love? And it spelled out a name. And later on it turned out like that is who I ended up with, which is so weird.
Whoa.
But it still freaks me out because it always goes to the number 6. Like literally every single time I play it, it always will go to the number 6 and spell out beast.
The only times I like seeing those words and numbers together on the back of Iron Maiden albums.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't ever want anything else to do with that.
Again, it goes to this thing of like,
For
I wonder
sure.
how it would be if we like actually set up. We would have to not include Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew's out. Yeah.
Great.
And we got someone to like lead it who's done it successfully before.
Yeah, we've played it ourselves, but I mean, we were joking around, I think, a little bit too much for it to really like actually kind of make it work on ourselves.
Did you ever feel like just evilness or anything, or did it ever go to the number 6 or anything?
Well, Andrew had an iron claw on it. It wouldn't move no matter what type of demon was trying to drag it across the board. So,
okay.
The time in the woods was creepy, but we were also in the woods in the middle of the night. Like,
just scary to start with.
Freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would never do that. That's crazy.
And I think we always get a little too intoxicated. So I think we should probably just do one sober.
I argue against that because most religious ceremonies include getting really intoxicated in the past. So I would be like, no, that helps.
Okay. Drinking the blood of Christ.
Yeah, there's
man.
usually
wine,
and
baby.
Yeah, wine of something. Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, if
exactly.
you're taking communion, wine.
What's your theory on the Ouija board? Like, why does it seem evil? What do you think that is?
Okay, this is one thing. I was wondering, sometimes it felt like when we would ask questions, I don't know if it's like subconsciously you would move it to whatever answer you wanted. And so maybe like it was something within me that was subconscious, because I was kind of like, I grew up religious. My dad was a pastor. So maybe there was something in me that thought it was evil and something in me was doing it. But like, I didn't literally feel like I was moving it or anything. But I don't know, just like the feeling you get in your gut, in your soul, when you just feel like, okay, something is not right here. This doesn't feel right.
For sure.
And how you can just feel energy around the room or whatever. So I just don't think it's a good thing. I don't think you should mess with it. I don't think like good spirits are really going to come through. I don't think it's the avenue.
It's wise to stay away.
Do you think the reason that it said 6 or it attached the significance of 6 and beast is because, I mean, the triple digit 666 is described as the number of beast in like ancient Judaism, things like that. And some of the earlier texts described it as 616, and some Arabic texts differs. But do you think it attached that number? Because, I mean, in other cultures, 6 is a completely different thing. I mean, there's 6 points in the Star of David. There's 6 points in the hexagram in Taoism, in Eastern cultures. Like, why do you think it attached the number 6 to the word beast?
Well, it was obviously Dana was speaking in English and her culture.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think
idea.
that these spirits somehow, because you attach that meaning to that number, do you think that the spirits interpreted that and they felt like that was the best way to communicate?
Sometimes I think like maybe they just want to fuck around with you, and they're like, oh, this is something that could freak this person out, and they
pranksters
tap into.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I have no freaking clue, but I don't know. It just every single time I played, and that's when I was just like, all right, this isn't right, and I don't know. I would just always have an uneasy feeling, and especially the time when I played with my friend, and then another thing, it's like every single person we talked to, we'd ask, how did you die? It was always murder.
Oh, never ask the Ouija board that. That's like rule
Why
number
not?
1.
Well, I think because most of this, like if I had to take a guess, is most of the spirits that would be active are ones that have like unfinished business. So it's like someone who died peacefully, old age, and like was content, isn't gonna like waste their afterlife to be like, listen to me, board. Like I need to find people playing Ouija board to pass a message.
Well, maybe they have nothing else to do in the afterlife, so it's just like, hey, whatever, have some fun with these teenagers. Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? I mean, no Ouija board story ends in a good way, no matter what it is. Like, even if you're playing it as a joke, it always ends in one of your friends getting terrified and not talking to you for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So
I don't know.
For me, I won't even mess with it. I mean,
It's better be safe.
I'm open to it, but yeah, it's just, I don't know, all these unanswered questions. But that's why I love your podcast, because you guys talk about all
It's
that.
better to be safe than fucked, you know? So don't play the Ouija
to
board
be
just in
haunted.
case, even if it's like, just if it scares you.
It's also better to be safe and fuck. So,
and well, yeah.
Well, I will say, you guys,
Put
if you ever
protection.
do want to play the Ouija board and you don't have one, you can create your own with a cereal box cardboard. That's what I did, and it still worked. So
I'm
that's
only
the
into
trippy
bone
thing.
necromancy, so that's what I'm getting into. We'll burn some chicken bones, and we'll
Next time we
We'll do
play,
some,
we're gonna get a piece of like leather, like legit leather, like straight from the shop. Chicken bones, blood. We'll infuse it. It's gonna be a perfect demon. It's gonna be a demon board, not a Ouija board, a straight demon board. That's next time we play.
Okay, well,
We'll
just
get
be
there.
careful.
We will.
All right,
we'll
well,
let
it's
you know
good
what
talking to
happens.
you guys.
Yeah, thanks for the call.
Okay. All right, talk to you later.
Bye.
Cheers.
So I like how you blame that shit on me when you guys made a mockery of the fucking board to begin with.
Mockery?
Well, that's
You made a
'cause we-
mockery.
I said
you
the
played fucking
incantation.
games. You played
100%
games.
into that shit. I was
You guys,
down.
listen, you brought
Dan
fucking
imbued
evil
it.
on all you guys.
Dan
You
imbued the
cursed it.
board.
You cursed it.
No, I fucking white maged that shit. I put the protection
Yeah,
spell on there.
but you tricked it because you're not a white mage. You're a dark mage because you're mean.
No,
and
I'm
you play tricks on your
100%.
friends.
I'm 100% a cleric. Okay,
You're
That
mean.
is- that is
You're a dark
what
cleric.
I am.
You're a bad cleric.
Dude,
You're
Dan-
dark.
Dan
and
stood
you
up.
play tricks on your friends.
Dad stood up before we played. He went to the west, elements of fire, south, east. He did all the things. He did everything we're supposed to, and then a demon got
And
into the
then you-
soundboard, and that's what happens.
And then you, began to torment one of your friends.
Nah, no big deal.
For content.
All right,
That's good.
Another caller.
That's fantastic.
Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hey, how's it going, boys?
Good, good, good. You?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. Hey, so I'm calling tonight to share a couple spooky stories that happened to me, or well, they didn't happen to me, but I'll tell them like they happened to me. They happened to a friend of a friend of a friend of mine.
For sure. Can you give us a name and a location? Fake name, fake location. Just give us something. Whatever you got.
Yeah. It's we'll go by my Discord handle, Jason Bjorn.
Oh, cheers.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
I saw you. Welcome.
thank you. And it happened somewhere not too far from you guys, actually.
Oh, so you're saying BC somewhere?
Not quite BC, but very close.
Okay.
In Canada.
In Canada.
Yeah. Alrighty. So this happened to a friend of a friend of mine who worked on an ambulance service, and he had just started his practicum about a year ago, and he was working in the hospital, just doing a quick couple days there, and a patient was brought in who was totally unresponsive. She had, a whole cocktail of things wrong with them. They were, unresponsive. They had diabetic crisis, which is usually controllable if you take care of yourself, but in this case, it was not. So they decided that instead of keeping this patient in a small town, they'd send them to a larger hospital, which is fine. But throughout the treatments, this patient finally woke up and started screaming, absolutely screaming. And for the sake of the story, we'll call this patient the Ice Chips Lady, because that is the only word she would say. She would say it with a deep, growling, kind of raspy voice. So she would say, "Ice chips, ice chips."
Jesus.
And
So she's a freaking flyer. She knows about the ice chips.
Ice chips.
oh yeah. Oh, she knows about the ice chips. That's for sure. So, oh yeah. So they decide, you know what? Like, this person, he's a student. He can run and get the ice chips and spoon feed them ice chips. So he's running back and forth, grabbing as many ice chips as he can. And, the ambulance that's going to take this person to a higher level of care finally gets there. So after, a couple, like I'm talking like an hour and a half of ice chips and screaming and ice chips, loaded this person into the ambulance, and they died about 20 minutes later on their way to the hospital.
Damn.
So this person started their ambulance practicum in the same town and was working in the same ambulance that this person had died in. So they one late night, it was maybe around 11:30. They were working with 2 other people in the stock room, and they're stocking some stuff and refilling the ambulance and all that good stuff, all the fun work. And out of the middle of the fire hall, so we're in the stock room, and there's 3 of us in the stock room, and out of the middle of the fire hall, they just hear this terrifying, like just absolutely terrifying scream, growl, and I was like, what the fuck was that? Like it was the most terrifying noise I've ever heard, and kind of looked around, and then I looked back out, and like the ambulance that this patient had died in is kind of slowly rocking back and forth, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, that is weird. Like, it's a very subtle rock, but it's definitely there, and nobody's over there. We're the only people there. And I kind of inspected the ambulance. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing mechanically wrong with it. If you're gonna debunk it, I would say, and Andrew would probably know, like, the airbags on the ambulance are typically, I guess, maybe it was winter time. Like, it was weird, but the other thing that's also weird about this story is it was in the middle of a lightning snowstorm. So maybe it's just bad weather that just affected the airbags. Who knows? It was weird. It was weird for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I have one more story that goes with lightning if you've got time.
Sure, yeah. That one was pretty quick. So
yeah, so during, or unless you guys have any questions about that one.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and assume does our friend of a friend know what this patient died from? Because I'm gonna go ahead and assume it was diabetic ketoacidosis, or
along with meth and staph and strep.
Oof. So sepsis, ketoacidosis, not a good fucking mix.
It doesn't sound. I don't really know what those words mean, but they sound bad.
Well, one of the main features with ketoacidosis is your like extreme thirst, which would give her desire for the fucking ice
and
chips,
the strep
right?
as well. Yeah,
having
the
the throat
strep was
like that.
also factor in that.
Damn.
Yeah, but the extreme thirst. It was all. She also, this person also died of exposure to the elements. They were found outside without clothes in the middle of winter.
So tell us what she didn't die from.
Yeah.
It was a whole cocktail.
No kidding. Now, so you're saying like, okay, if you're going to debunk it, it could have been like the airbags. What do you mean by the airbags? Like they were leaking in a weird way that makes that a weird noise, or?
Yeah. The sound that I was kind of describing, it was low, raspy, but it also had like a high pitch in the background, which kind of led me to the airbags. Because sometimes, like when you park the truck, like the airbags will settle a little bit. But that truck had been parked all night. We were using the other rig.
Oh, so you're talking about the airbag, like the suspension to like lift the truck up and down?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. My friend of a friend's 8 years in and's never heard anything that resembles a blood-curdling fucking screech coming from an ambulance.
Right?
And if he did, he'd probably be finding a new job. So,
Yeah, it was, that was paranormally activated hall. There's footsteps and everything there.
Oh, dude,
sounds like
that's crazy. We got a couple minutes if you want to go with that lightning story real quick.
Yeah, for sure. It's a quick one. So I was sitting with some of my friends around a campfire, and I had a friend at the time. Well, still, he died 7 years ago. We were sitting around the campfire, and we planted a tree in his honor. And we were sitting kind of by the tree, and we were reminiscing about him, and I was talking with his dad and his brother and his best friend. We were like talking about him, you know. Oh, this story scares me. But we were just kind of, you know, reminiscing of the past, hanging out, having a few beers, and everything kind of went quiet, and the song was changing. And like as the song was changing, it's the middle of summer, and there's like heat lightning. It's so hot, it's humid, and like this kind of cold wind rolls in, and over my shoulder, I'm sitting, like, I'm on the end, his dad's in the middle, and his brother's on the other side. And in the middle of his brother is his dad. Right over my shoulder towards his dad, I hear, and then it immediately turned hot again. Like, as soon, like, I heard just, like, oh.
I don't like
even just thinking about that scares the hell out of me. Like,
No kidding.
Don't like that.
Friendly ghost or not, that was creepy.
Any ghost.
yeah.
Fuck. Why like the sinister
Yep.
like whisper like that too?
Right? Like, maybe it's like, I don't know, my theory is like the lightning, you know, they're trying to when they're manifesting like energy, they can just pull some from the atmosphere kind of thing. Like, I've almost been struck by lightning a few times where we were.
Right.
Lots of lightning there, but yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, creepy.
No kidding. Like a paranormal visitation. Kind of sounds like.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I've got some my girlfriend's got her grandma has a super haunted house. She has some awesome stories, like truly terrifyingly awesome stories. But if you got other people on the line, I totally understand.
We're gonna take one more call, but definitely call back with the haunted house stories. That is perfect.
Yeah. Her grandma's got a super paranormally activated house.
I don't think we've done have we done our schedule for March? When
yeah, let me pull it up here.
Isn't it the same schedule?
Same?
Like just,
No.
Similar,
No.
but not quite the same because no like case file like
Oh,
dedicated.
right.
So hang on, we're gonna find out when the next
Give me a second.
paranormal ghost one is.
March. So we have actually 2 open lines in March. So Sunday, March 7th is cryptid. Sunday, March 14th is open lines. Sunday, March 21st is the paranormal. And Sunday, March 28th is again open lines.
Boom.
Should one of those be UFOs? Wow.
Open lines.
Damn it, Dan! You don't make a schedule.
UFOs, open lines. All right, so yeah, make sure to call back
Sweet.
on.
Well, yeah, I'll get my girl to call back on the open lines, and I'll call back on the UFO one. I've got a sweet UFO sighting.
Please do.
Sounds
Right
good.
on.
Well,
Tell
yeah.
your friend of a friend to be
Have
safe.
a great
out there.
night, boys.
You too. Thanks for the call.
Yeah,
Take care.
we'll be starting a new job tomorrow, so
All the best.
Congrats.
Good luck. Bye.
bye.
Ooh, freaky one, kind of. Give me a little chills.
Listen, if my friend of a friend had half those paranormal experiences, he would not be working with dead people anymore. I can promise you that. Not a fucking chance.
We just got signed out of Skype, which is my connection to that main line.
Fantastic.
Oh,
Pause.
that's good.
We're
Well,
a
it's
professional
7:30
podcast,
It's 7:30
everybody.
anyways.
Welcome.
I don't know
It's
why.
all
I don't know
good.
why it signs out. No, we're back on. All right, one more call. One more call to bring us. One more. Let's make it a quick one if you can. If you're calling in. If not, well, move on. And just like that, the line it fills up. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hey, Zell?
That's me.
All right. Hey,
Who are you?
I'm Hannah in Northern California.
Hey, Hannah. Thanks for the call.
So, my father-in-law actually had 2 Men in Black encounters.
Whoa!
Damn.
Oh, there we go.
Wait, Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith?
Damn, that's awesome.
That's great.
You mean J and K?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, both of them. No. So he was basically a genius, certified when he was a young kid. And so by the time he was in his early 20s, he had his own machining shop.
for, fabricating mechanical parts.
Right.
So there was some kind of like alternative energy contest, either in Southern California or the Bay Area. And he came up with some new carburetor thing that made his car run super efficiently, like 50 miles a gallon or something.
Crazy.
Which was basically unheard of.
Yeah.
And he won or came in second place. And afterwards, two dudes come up to him and they're like, "Hey, good job. You're not leaving here with that technology." Oh, okay then. He took the part off his car while they were watching him and packed it away, went home. That night, he melted down the components that he had around his house, encoded all his plans onto notebook paper with some weird encryption that only he understood, and made it look like everything was completely gone.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And then I'm
So the guys show up at his house the next day.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they show up at his house the next day, and they're like, "So that thing you have, you need to give it to us right now." And he's like, "Oh, well, I burnt it. I melted it all down. You don't have to worry about it." Yeah, there was a box he gave them with all the melted pieces and, like, the ashes and stuff. So they believed him. They're like, "Oh, we'll just call it a day then," and left. A couple years later, while he's at his shop, some different guys in suits show up. And they're like, "Hey, you're doing this project for us." And he's like, "Okay." They shut down all his shop, kick out all his employees, and turn off the power to all but the back room. And he's the only one allowed at the facility. And he's working on these parts with some crazy alloys that basically don't exist to the outside world. And they're measuring all these metals. They're measuring his scraps that come off the machine to make sure he's not stealing any of this, controversial alloy or whatever. And then when he's done with all this, to pay him, they're like, "Oh, here's this catalog. Get whatever you want out of there." There's a bunch of just basic everyday stuff. So he goes to order some screws or something one day. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, we're going to be sending you that Cadillac next week." So this catalog was encoded with all this, like, high-end stuff under basic items for high-end payoffs.
Oh.
And he somehow got ingratiated into this system because he was so good with his machining. And he kept that book forever, but he ended up losing it. Otherwise, that would have been amazing to show you guys.
What model was the Cadillac?
Oh, I don't even know. But whatever was, like, top of the line, fully tricked out for, like, the early to mid 60s.
How long do you have the car for?
Hold on. What was it?
1979 Eldorado.
Oh, it was a 1979 Eldorado Supreme, I've been informed.
Okay.
Baller.
Damn.
Fancy.
Yeah. So not only did he see the Men in Black, he got paid off.
So the alloys he was working with, like, did he have to use any types of special drill bits or any types? Did he have to change any parts in his machining equipment to work with them? Or?
I don't think he had any specialized equipment. I think it was all just his equipment, but they didn't let him keep any of it. And, like, they kept account of all of their material and all the time. And they way overpaid him for all of it, too. Like, he would quote them a price, and they'd be like, "Oh, you mean this much?" And it'd be, like, 5 times higher. He's like, "Yeah, I guess
does he remember any, like, properties, like, just visual properties of the alloys? Like, were they any harder to work with than like regular steel? Was it like he working with titanium back then, or like?
I don't remember him saying any specifics about it. The
What year
car
was
was
this?
from 79. So I
1979?
imagine it was
I think,
around 79.
Titanium was still.
Might have been.
I think you could.
Well, but
I don't think you could get. I don't think you could get it in the U.S. Technically, I don't. There was a whole thing about the manufacturing process, like was only available in Russia. or something.
Yeah.
They were only producing it. So maybe it was titanium. Does he know, or does he have some idea of like what alloy he was working with?
he has no idea what it was. He's been dead 10 years now, so I can't ask him. But the thing is, that alloy was used to make a mount bracket for the 360 camera on the SR-71 Blackbird.
Cool.
We found that out after the fact. But yeah, he was.
How do you find that?
Part of the
How did they tell him, or did he like? I know, like, did he see it and say like that's I worked on that, or?
I think he saw it and was like, "Oh, I totally know what that is. I made that."
So it was like some like segregated department of like how they built that thing, and he worked on this one piece, all because he came up. Now, whatever happened with the technology that they said to make him destroy it, he encoded it in the notebook.
Well, after he died, my husband and I were sorting through everything, and we found the notebook pages that are encrypted with the original sketches and all the specs on it.
Have you showed those to anyone, or are you have them so far?
My husband has showed other machinists, just a couple people, and I think everyone's pretty impressed just by the design itself.
Just by
But-
the drawings themselves are impressive.
Yeah, but my husband doesn't want to show, the wrong people and have
Yeah.
some shit come down on us.
Doesn't want to end up getting neuralized.
No,
right?
definitely not. Well, you should try and take pictures of that and somehow leak them onto the internet.
To us.
Yeah. I'd like to get a little bit more fuel efficiency out of my Silverado.
No kidding. Like I had I had 50 times the gas mileage. Huh. That's a great
Yeah.
story.
Thank you. So yeah, glad I got to talk to you guys.
Yeah, sorry he died 10 years ago, but sounds like a super interesting guy, and hopefully one day you can get those encrypted drawings sorted out. That'd be cool.
It would be. My husband's trying to get someone to make a prototype or something, but we'll see.
You be sure to let us know first if something happens.
Of course.
We want to invest.
Yeah, we want to get in early.
Yeah.
Right on.
All
right. That's going to do it for tonight. Thanks for the call.
All right. See you guys.
Bye. Boom. Great calls tonight. Whole bunch of different stuff.
Good stuff.
Fun.
Good shit.
Real fun.
And also, just to let everyone know, we're also live streaming our main show, Alien Theories Theorizing, directly after the show tonight. So if you want to pop onto our Patreon, you can watch the live stream for that. And we're talking about the Cash Landrum UFO incident tonight.
Should be fun.
Probably start about 8 o'clock. So you can jump onto patreon.com/Alien Theorists podcast. And that's how you access that live stream for the main show.
Boom.
Oh,
all right.
On that, next week, March, we have, what did I say was the next? Paranormal?
Start off with paranormal. Yeah, we didn't have an alien in there. But I mean,
Well, we can make one
we
of
can make
those
it
aliens.
either one. I mean, aliens are half the time anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Hold on, let me pull it up again. We have coming up, cryptids, Sunday, March 7th. We want to hear all your thoughts on cryptids. If you've seen a cryptid, had a cryptid encounter. And Sunday, the 14th, another open line. So we got lots coming up for Cosmic Channels.
Always fun.
Always fun.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Cosmic Channels is brought to you by Big Theory Productions. The Cosmic Channels are now closed.
O'Reilly.
This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
After the third time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
Oh,